Christina, and I'm the summarizer.
I'm David, and I'm the vocab and quote finder.
I'm Casey, and I'm the illustrator.
I'm Jade, and I'm the multiple perspective person.
Jeremiah was the
Moderator.
the moderator. He's absent. We'll be reading his questions that he wrote down. We're reading the book Things Fall Apart. And I'll be reading the summary about what happened in chapters 1 through 7. In chapters 1 through 7, and Things Fall Apart, the main character, Okonkwo, whose father is lazy and inefficient, named Onoka. Okonkwo strives for manliness and becoming better than his father was. Okonkwo rejects conversation and emotion because he thinks it's a sign of weakness. Okonkwo reaches a social status of one of the lords of the clan. He also reaches a financial status because he can be trusted, as stated by Nawakibi, who gave him 800 yams. Yams are a king's crop. They are also a struggle to plant because of the harsh weather. When you farm, it gets you land, and land is very good, especially if you didn't have any inherited from your no good father, Okonkwo. Unlike Unoka, Okonkwo wants his son Wanyi to have a future. Wanyi struggles to shadow Okonkwo's demanding footsteps. Wanyi is more like his grandfather, not too concerned about his future. This was before Akin Funda, who Okonkwo was ordered to watch for 3 years. In those 3 years, King Fumba becomes more of an older brother to Nawin and teaches him the lessons of becoming more like a successful man by telling him stories, like his mother did to him. Everything was going well until Okonkwo was ordered to kill Mfumba, and he denied the order because Mfumba calls Okonkwo father. Okonkwo went to send him off to go back home, but little did Mfumba know that this was a setup to kill him. After Mfumba's death, Okonkwo returned home, revealing to Wanya that he had been killed, making Wanya experience a strangely familiar feeling from the past.
Okay, David, would you like to start on your part?
Okay, so I found some vocab terms. And one major term I discovered throughout the book was cola, and that's just, it's a small evergreen tree. So they used to drink the cola, what's it called? Cola nut, and that was just a seed inside of it from the cola tree, and they would drink from there. They also had a term called Harmacian, and it was near the beginning of the book, and it was just a wind that came from the northeastern part of West Africa. Also, some quotes that I found. One from chapter 1 says, "Fortunately, among these people, a man was judged according to his work and not according to his father." And my analysis was that Okonkwo was lucky that things were that way, because in some cultures, their family is judged by their father, and so since they were not judged by the father, then he can live a different life than his father was. Let's see, another quote. Okay, so the quote was, "He had no patience with unsuccessful men. He had no patience with his father." So Okonkwo said that his father was unsuccessful and he had no patience for him. So Okonkwo disliked his father, and he just degraded his father. He just found that his father was just trash, I guess. That's really what part.
Y'all got any questions about what he said?
All right, this is one question that Furlow wrote down for us to talk about. It says, why do you think Okafor was sad about Ifekumio dying?
So that's probably the son. So kind of somebody open up their book. That's the last chapter.
Yeah, that's in chapter
7. Oh,
located in chapter 7.
okay.
It states. I'm sorry.
Last page.
I think it.
Yeah, it's the last page. I think. Flip it again.
Oh, it's right. The way he said it was kind of fear and it was back now.
Let me on that.
Okay, I have it. On the last page, on page 62 of chapter 7, in the last paragraph, it said, then something had given way inside him. It descended on him again, this feeling, when his father walked in the night after killing Ifekumio. I don't have to pronounce it, sorry. So, before that, it said a vague chill had descended on him and his head seemed to swell like a solitary walker at night who passes an evil spirit on the way. So I feel like that he's saying that he was, I really don't know how to explain, like he was surprised, or it really didn't settle in his mind until it happened. Like he couldn't, it didn't seem realistic to him. Like it couldn't settle in his brain.
In the beginning, and also to piggyback on what you said, in the beginning of page 52 of chapter 7, it said Okonkwo was inwardly pleased with his son's development, and he had knew it was due to Nkemfuna. I think this is an important statement because it's stating how Nkemfuna impacted Nwanye's life, and how it was just so devastating for him to have to lose him after 3 years that they have spent together. Anybody else have anything to say about this question?
Well, like what Casey said on the last page, Kyle was saying about how he felt something sad in his heart. I really think it was because he really grown a big connection to Nkemfuna, and to find out that he was finally gonna die or get punished for the crime that happened earlier in the book, it was pretty sad because the whole household was kind of fond of him, and now he was leaving. So, yeah.
So I have a point back near the beginning, on page 28.
28.
They were talking about how, what is his name, Nkemfuna, how he started to finally get used to the family. And the quote that I found, it says, sometimes when he went to the big village meetings or communal ancestral feasts, he allowed Nkemfuna to accompany him like a son, so he was treating him like a son, and Nkemfuna began to call him father eventually. And it's sad how he ended up dying after they just built a strong bond over 3 years.
Right.
Alright, so I have something to say. I want your opinion on this. So in chapter 5, page 44,
Okay.
Okonkwo told his daughter to sit like a woman. So how do you feel when he says that? Because all throughout this chapter, or this page, Okonkwo tells his daughter that she can't do this because it's a man's job, or she's not doing something right and she's acting like a man. Right?
Oh, well, that's what I put for my job, the multiple perspective person. I put it in perspective from a woman, the feminist point of view. So let me read it. That's my paper as well. Okay. Well, I was about to say something. What you gonna say?
I'll just piggyback on what you were going to say because I'm pretty sure it's similar.
Okay, well, in chapter 1, I put it as a whole different thing. In chapter 1, it started as a biography of Uniko, Okonkwo's father, because it really just told his life and his life story. So if you read it from that point of view, just a regular biography, it wouldn't be that bad. But his life wasn't that successful. But in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I put it from a feminist point of view. And this village would be a horrible thing to people who really support feminism. And the women are living in a patriarchy society, and they get beat and have no say in anything. Amongst each other, they do converse with respect, so some men have more than one wives, so they converse respectively. And some women in a household have power, praise, but they still are lessened in the whole community, because if you were the first wife, you get more respect than the fourth wife. And the men have the power over everything, and the women have no say in anything. So that's what really, if you read the book from that point of view, instead of how Okonkwo's life is, it'll be a very bad book.
I feel like Okonkwo should treat his daughter. I feel like he should let his daughter be who she is, and if she wants to do an activity that a boy usually does, then let her do it. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
I agree with Casey and Jade from a feminist's point of view. It seems as if ladies can't do what men do, even if it is okay. Like, there are men's sports, and then women can play the same sports, but that doesn't mean it's a man's sport.
Yeah.
So that's just piggybacking on what they said.
David, since you're a male, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like it's right for a girl to play a boy activity?
Girls should be able to do whatever they can. Men shouldn't be the only one to play certain games. Girls should be able to play the same game.
So what if that was you?
Me,
Like, what if you're doing the same activity as her, and she comes and do it with you? How would you feel about that?
do what?
Anything.
Like,
Anything that,
would you care
that
if it was like,
a woman usually...
if a girl was on the same football team as you?
No,
You don't think it's wrong or weird?
no.
Okay, no, not yet. It's going to. But who did the background information on the book?
Would
No.
you like to read us some background information?
Information on
To
the
make
book?
sure that we're on the right track of.
Did anybody, or was that Jeremiah's?
Jeremiah's part was the background, and he's sick right now, so.
Kind of threw up when we got up here. But well, I'm guessing. Well, we'll go back to the feminist thing. Could you get this?
I have a question.
Okay, hold on. Before you do that.
Yeah.
But the feminist thing, I think they really treat women like this because this is an old African tale. So back, they really, in that continent, they don't have the respect thing. It's just kind of men do this, men do that. Women don't get anything. But I'll get it back. Get your question.
Okay, I also have another.
Okay, hold on, Christine.
My,
Are you on doing the feminist thing or
Oh, it's
nothing? Okay.
my question was, why do you think the author stated this fact of why his name was like Mingwai Kibi giving Okonkwo so many seeds, even though from past learnings or studies that we know that land is important to the African culture. Do you think this was similar, or because this book is like it's fiction, but some of the actual information is kind of true? So do you think that's like one of it when the author states that Okonkwo has 800 seeds from Wakibi?
Well, I'm confused on what you're trying to say.
In chapter chapter 3.
Is that where he has that quote when it was like pouring grains of corn into a bag full of hoes?
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
it's on page 22.
22, 23. About the
It says
800 seed names.
yes. It says.
Oh, I see what you was talking about, Casey.
It says.
We're at the bottom.
What does it say?
Page 23, the second.
What page?
One.
No.
22.
Wait, what are we gonna say?
Oh, you talking about
It's
Okonkwo
on.
thanked him again and
It's
again
gone.
and went home feeling happy?
Yes, Okonkwo thanked him again and again and went home feeling happy. And later on in the book, it says that year Okonkwo took 800 seeds from Wakibi was the worst in the year, the worst living memory.
Oh, you talking about the drought thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do you
what
think
are
the
you-
author stated that? Does it like bring any more like information from the past, or was this just like another fictional?
Oh, okay. So
sto-
you're trying to say like, is he, like,
fictional statement to
is
keep
this
the story?
relevant?
Yeah.
This most likely is probably going to be relevant later on in the story about how it is relevant because it's showing how Conquo is just like kind of
Wait.
he's
Where I stopped it.
what did you do?
Oh no, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay. It's still going.
Yes.
Okay, it's really saying how Conquo is like his heart. Well, what it says right here, a proud heart can survive a general failure because such a failure does not prick his pride. It's really describing Conquo's how he survived through that part. So this kind of is relevant, but like just if you just threw it in there, probably. You got something?
Yeah, I feel as if he's dedicated because on page 23, it says some farmers did not even plant their yams yet, and even though it was like a drought, and then eventually it was like a flooding sort of thing, Okonkwo still planted seeds, because he was trying to prove that he was dedicated to lead his family, and so even though there was bad weather, he still planted his seeds.
All right.
You guys, yeah.
Okay, so in chapter 2, it was a term called, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Agbala. It's like Agbala.
Did you cover that or no?
It's on page 11. It's either 11 or 13, sorry.
Okay.
And so I researched the word because I wanted to know what it was.
You said what? Agaba. This.
Agbala. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I researched the word because I really didn't know what it was, and I want to know because that's how they describe Okonkwo's father as an Ajabala. So I looked it up, and I found out it means this word means a woman or a man with no title. Because you understand that Okonkwo's father was like he was a failure. He was lazy. He really didn't do anything. So who would be described as a word to you? Who do you think? Like
In the story or just like
just,
in general?
Like in general, like who would you describe as that? Like
A
it could be
person.
somebody relevant that all of us know.
Meek Mill, like this.
A person who wants to be a part of your life, but I think it's like it's too late. You've already set your life in a way to where you know what you want. So if I just if somebody just walks up to me, I feel like it won't be necessary for you to be in my life because I already know what I want to do. It just may be a waste of time. I feel like that's what that's what you conveyed when you stated that.
Got like 5 minutes left. Okay, he's on. Oh,
All right, as I stated before, I have the role as an illustrator. So I really decided to talk about something that's throughout the whole chapters that's relevant to the whole chapter. So in chapter 1, it talks about the features of Okonkwo. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Okonkwo, and it stated. Let me go to it quick.
Okonkwo.
It stated, Okonkwo's fame had grown like a bushfire in the Harmattan. He was tall and huge, and his bushy eyebrows and wide nose gave him a severe look. He breathed heavily, and it was said that when he slept, his wives and children in their houses could hear him breathe. When he walked, his heels hardly touched the ground, and he seemed to walk on springs. All right? So right here, I drew a picture of Okonkwo. And this is relevant to the story because it shows how he looked, and it gives you a picture of, it gives you a visualization of the story, so you can connect more to the story. And I think when they describe him in the story, I think this is based off on his father and how his father wasn't much of a role model to him, so he was always on his toes, and he really didn't, he didn't depend on anybody. He was very independent. He wanted to do things on his own to show that he was nothing like his father. So that's why he always looked as if he was mean and all the other stuff, etc., etc.
Would you like to show an example how he walked?
They said he walked as though he was finna pounce on everybody at any given moment. So when I think about that, I think about like Like he working hard, like he not scared of anybody. Like he will pounce on you at any moment, you know?
Yeah.
That's very relevant considering that he was titled the Lord of the Clan. So you have to be ready for anything and everything, especially when you don't know what could happen. Like when he had to kill Inkafuma.
Yeah. It's also like
He didn't know that he was going to have to do that, so he was just prepared to watch his death. He knew that he had to tell his family and son about it. So you just have to be prepared for anything.
And this also ties into chapter 2 when they said he was on page 10. He was like, they said he was a man of action, a man of war. So he was ready for anything, and he was never scared.
Also, I remember from chapter 6 when on page 51 when they started talking about the wrestling, and they were comparing Okonkwo to old Kafu, and they were saying, who will wrestle for our village? Has he thrown 100 men? Has he thrown 100 cats? Has he? Oh, yeah. That's really, they were saying that Okonkwo threw 100 men, he threw 100 cats, and they were asking if old Kafu did the same thing. So that's what ties into, that's what I remember.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be our last question. I just forgot it. Okay. That's what I was saying. How people are getting, what do you guys think about, get this? What do you guys think about how babies, the people who die from that disease, the men die from the disease, what's his dad died from? Doggone. He got something that started with an S, nobody remembers. I forgot.
I was gonna say smallpox, but
It is, I don't know, but he's swelling. Okay, right here on page 18. He died of swelling, which was an abomination to the earth goddess. People who died of swelling when baby twins are born, they get thrown into the evil forest. What do you guys think about that? Because they don't get like justice. Yeah, I think that's like they should do about that.
what do you think? What you mean?
Like, I mean, like, because babies get twin babies, if they're born, they get thrown into the forest just to die. What do you guys like?
There should be only one of them, I guess. That's what they think. Like two of them.
But I could see if you give, you know how when you, like a while back, they used to say that the Chinese used to give the girls up for adoptions. That's why there used to be a lot of Chinese girls, because the men were always the boys were always the strongest ones. So I feel if they're going to do that, they should just give one for adoption, just keep the other one, not throw both of them in the forest.
Yeah, but maybe you don't know if you made the mistake of, oh, well, this child is bad, so we should have switched them out.
Newborn though.
You don't. That's why they throw them both in. Why have the wrong one when you can just don't have any? Just try again and make one. See how that one turns out.
How do they know one's gonna be wrong?
But like, what if it's both
You
girls?
don't know.
What if it's both girls?
It doesn't
Like,
make any sense to trash them. But they don't know how
It
to-
doesn't make any sense. But I'm trying to look in the perspective of the Mr. Akachibi.
who's that?
The Arthur.
It's
Archibia.
It's Chinua. What? It's right
But
here.
Chibi.
to all summarize
Chibi.
that up, I feel like throwing two babies in the forest is ridiculous.
I mean, I just feel like you're just really just killing y'all population and all.
Making it smaller, then you could have more because they like wrestling.
And tied it into imperialism, colonization. That's why it was so easy for the Europeans to come in and colonize them, because your population is decreased and it's easy to
I just feel like whatever that was. I just feel like their beliefs were just too strong, like strict and strong than too much.
Yeah, like usually there's kind of like reasoning behind most things, but I don't find the reasoning behind throwing away babies. Like,
Please don't say throwing away
I
babies.
can understand the whole disease thing, and you don't want people with diseases to spread with y'all village and other stuff. But
They said it's
newborn
abomination to get that.
babies- the newborn babies, that's crazy.
That's a harsh word, abomination.
Some twins, they kill off one of them.
Aren't you a twin?
They keep and then they trash them. Yeah.
What would you feel? How would you feel if they kept you and threw away Jasmine?
I don't know. I don't know how my life would have been without my twins, so I don't know what to say.
Go.
Oh, we got.
All right, so let's just talk about Okonkwo's father, Unoko. I feel like in this story they describe him as a lazy slob and all this other stuff, but I feel like he's a good person because he has many talents. He might have so many depths and all this other stuff. But he can play the instruments. He can play instruments, and he plans to pay all these people back that has depths from him.
Well, he's dead now.
He's dead.
No.
But it's still a thought that counts. That
He dead
that
now.
He took his time to write on the chalk wall who he owes. And
He gave consideration.
But actions are better than words. If he was dedicated to do something, he would have started with his son. I feel like he kind of raised his son to be more independent, and
But
now
you never
that's how
know.
he raises his family.
Maybe Yunoko's dad was just like him.
I just
Oh.
He didn't know how to act.
That's very.
Where's the
very-
mama? I don't. No one got that. Where's the mom?
They make babies and cook in the kitchen. She's probably cooking right now.
Oh, Kwanko's mama?
Yeah, possibly if she ain't
I
dead.
disagree with his father being a good person because even though he was in debt and he was planning to pay them back, I don't think he was planning to pay them back because they said that he kept tricking people into getting money to him. So I think that he was.
I don't
tricking
think
people
it was
in debt.
tricking. I think it was persuasion. I think he I mean, you don't have to give if they didn't want to give him money, they didn't have to give him money. Trust and believe. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wouldn't have given him money, but they still chose to.
That's true.
They said
They
they
shoulda
weren't
done
gonna
it.
pay him back, but they weren't going to pay him any extra money, but they ended up doing it somehow.
All right.
Well,
All right. Whose fault is that? That's not his fault.
My dad says that if you're going to do something, don't expect something in return, and just do it out of the kindness of your heart. So you shouldn't always expect something in return. If you know that they have a past history of not paying people back, what makes you so different?
All right. That's it. To wrap it up.
This is the
Dream
team. This is probably a very ugly
And
angle.
this is our first literacy group circle, and it will get better. I'm sorry, it was a little bit rough.
Oh, see, I should have turned it off.